Hello, I'm Mr. Thornton and I'm going to read you Chapter 6, On Top of the World, for a moment anyway. After school, Cleo and Josh walked home. Normally, Kaylee would join them, but that day, her mom picked her up for some kind of appointment. In the kitchen, Mom was making something again. Bags of ingredients, messy bowls, measuring cups, and eggshells littered the counter. The longevity lollipops hadn't gone over so well. Cleo's had gotten stuck in her throat and practically choked her to death. Mom turned off the mixer and gave them both kisses. How was school? JJ ran in and threw his arms around Cleo's waist. Cleo! It was nice to come home to an adoring fan. She hugged him back and headed for Josh. Mom, guess what? Josh said. Emilio's in my class. He opened the pantry door, scavenging for a snack. That's great. What are you making this time? Cleo eyed the gritty batter suspiciously. It looked a little too much like something that had been digested once before. Quinoa cupcakes. Quinoa what? Mom held up a bag of birdseed. Quinoa. It's a miracle grain, full of protein. You can try one when they're done. No thanks. I'll just have one of these. She grabbed a chocolate chip protein bar from the pantry and peeled back the wrapper. Can I open my avocado stand today? What about homework? Our teacher doesn't believe in giving a lot of homework. Mom eyed her skeptically. Oh, really? I've just got a little reading. I can do it in between customers. Okay, but you have to answer my question first. How was school? Fine. Except for dumb Jimmy Ryerson asking her questions about her birth mom. She thought she had gotten over it, but there it was again, making her feel weird, like she didn't belong. I like Mr. Boring. He does seem like a good guy. You've met him? I emailed your teachers last week, just to introduce myself, and our family, like I do every year. Of course. Cleo wished she wouldn't make such a big deal out of it, but Mom had made educating others about adoption one of her main missions in life. Well, I've got a business to run. Cleo started toward the family room where she'd stashed all of her business stuff. You know where to find me. Outside, the avocados on the ground were all half eaten. Barkley! He had ruined $10 worth of the product. The remaining avocados were high up in the branches. She got the ladder from her detached garage and set it up next to the tree. She had just climbed to the top when their neighbor across the street, Miss Chu, came outside in gardening gloves. Miss Chu waved her little shovel in the air. Cleo, that's too high. You're going to hurt yourself. Ni hao, Miss Chun. This summer, Cleo had asked Miss Chu to teach her Mandarin Chinese, the future language of business people everywhere. Want to buy some avocados today? Cleo raised an avocado to show Miss Chu. The latter wobbled. Her heart did a little flip, but she kept her cool. Cleo's Awesome Avocados was back in business. Just get down from there, she said. I'll get you the money. How much? $1 each. Cleo had never done a business transaction from this far away, or from a ladder. But so what? A sale was a sale. I pay the same at the store. What happened to the blowout sale? Miss Chu never accepted full price. That was yesterday, but for you, I'll make it 4 for $3. Deal? Deal. Now you get down before you break your neck. Cleo was going to get down. Really, she was. And then she saw the roof. And it was only a step away. A big step, but she knew she could do it. And if she could do it, then she had to do it. It's a law of the universe. She plucked 4 avocados, then hurried down and dragged the ladder closer to the house, which was a single story in the front, double story in the back, where they'd added on bedrooms. She climbed to the top of the ladder again and pulled herself onto the roof, trying not to make noise. If Mom found her, she would have a cow. Not just a cow, a bull with horns. This was the kind of thing that would have her yelling Cleo's whole entire name to the whole entire neighborhood. Cleopatra Lenore Oliver, get down from there right now. But she didn't want to get down. She was a Capricorn after all. Part mountain goat, according to fortune. Always climbing, never satisfied until they reached the top. Cleo scrambled up the short slope to the pointy part in the middle. She looked down on the roof of Miss Jean's chicken coop. Gloria, Alice, and Susan B. pecked and scratched in the dirt yard. Big Betty was probably chilling out in the coop. Miss Jean had paid Cleo to chicken sit a few times. Easy money. On the other side of Miss Jean's was the Williamses. Cleo giggled at the underwear drying on the line in their backyard. It looked big enough to fit a panda. Beyond the Williamses' single story was Kaylee's palace of a house. It was pink, which Kaylee thought was horrible, but Cleo thought was splendorvelous, with red Spanish tiles on the roof and a side balcony just right for sipping their tangy tangerine tonic, which they'd made from the Ortega's tangerine trees and sold earlier in the summer. The Ortega's house stood out on their street like a flamingo in a flock of pigeons. It was exactly the kind of house Cleo would like to live in. Kaylee's bedroom window was open. She would yell. Should she yell? She might get caught, but on the other hand, if her best friend was home, she would see her on top of her house. She cupped her hands around her mouth. Kaylee! Kaylee's gauzy blue curtains fluttered in her window. Kaylee! Kaylee didn't appear, but crouching there, on the pinnacle of the roof, Cleo suddenly felt on top of the world. She put her feet on either side of the peak and stood straight up. Wowee! The view was amazing. She could see all the way to Audubon High School, where Dad taught computers and history. Dull, meaningless history. It was much more important to look ahead, to the future. And she knew what the future held for her, more businesses. Because she was an entrepreneur, just like Fortune, probably like lots of people in her birth family. An idea struck her so hard it practically knocked her from her perch. She would start a business at school. She could see it all now. Her desk would become her executive office, the nerve center of Cleopatra Enterprises, Inc. Kaylee would be her COO, Chief Operating Officer, since she was the most organized person on the planet. Just then, the sky exploded with noise and the whoosh of beating wings. 100 wild parrots, she wasn't exaggerating, really, even though she had been known to on occasion, landed in the camphor trees that towered over her house. They had been there before. They came and went around the neighborhood, a big, noisy, extended bird family. The fact that they had chosen to land right there, at the very moment she had this great thought, it was a sign. She just knew it was. The birds squawked and flapped their wings as if they were cheering and clapping just for her. Barkley ran outside, barking and jumping up on one of the giant trees. Josh ran after him. Cleo ducked. Mom, Mom, Cleo's on the roof. Corn dogs and Costco. Miss Chu came out on her front porch. She started waving and shouting too. Between the parrots screeching, Barkley barking, Josh tattling, and Miss Chu yelling, the corner of their street was louder than the floor of the New York Stock Exchange. It was almost loud enough to drown out the sound of Mom yelling her whole entire name to the whole entire neighborhood.